Welcome to the first episode of Beyond Grief, the podcast that explores the personal journey of individuals who have experienced the unimaginable pain of losing a loved one. I'm your host, Imelda, and I'm here to guide you through these heartfelt stories of loss, resilience, and ultimately healing. Today, we have someone whose story will touch your heart and remind you of the strength that resides within us. Grief is a universal experience, yet it's intensely personal. In these conversations, we aim to shed light on the many facets of grief, its challenges, and the unique ways people navigate through it. By sharing these stories, we hope to create a sense of connection, understanding, and solidarity for all who listen. Maggie Ortiz has graciously agreed to open up and share her journey of losing her beautiful mother, Leonor. So without further ado, let's dive into today's episode and get to know Maggie and the enduring love she shared with her beautiful mother, Leonor. Hi, Maggie. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So to begin, I would like for you to share a story about your mother, or where your mother came from prior to becoming a mother, who she was as a woman.
Okay, so she was born in Mexico City. She is one of 7 siblings. 5 of them four. 3 have passed. She came to the United States, I think, when she was about 16, maybe, because she did start Mark Twain Middle School in Venice, California. And she went to Venice High, but she was actually a beauty school dropout. I think she dropped out, I'm not sure if junior or senior year. And then she became a homemaker and then a housekeeper. And she was a housekeeper for several years in the city of Los Angeles.
And can you share your relationship with your mom? How was it growing up, right, as a young child, and then growing up into an adult and as a mother yourself?
So I was probably the only one that stayed living with my mom until I was an adult and had my own daughter. So yeah, she was literally my best friend. She was my daughter's best friend. So I lived with her basically all my life until she passed. So we had a really good relationship. She was there for me through everything financially when I got pregnant young. I knew this would happen.
It's okay.
But,
this is what it's about.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? Growing up with her was like, she was my best friend, and she was so understanding and a good mother.
Now, as a child, and we're both crybabies, as you can tell.
Yes.
And there's going to be tears. There's going to be laughter. There's going to be sadness. This is what people deal with grief, right? This is raw. This is unscripted.
Yeah.
And again, you're going to see tears. You're going to see laughter. You're going to see sadness. This is the reality of grief.
Yeah.
And again, I want people to know what she was like as a mom when you were little, for example.
I mean,
things you did with her.
Everything. Disneyland was her favorite thing. So my brother Louis makes fun of us because he says we're Disney adults, but we got it from our mom. Like, she loved Disneyland. My dad was always a provider, but my mom was always with us during school shopping, all of our fun activities. Any money, anything that we needed for field trips, she was always there to provide. Again, my dad was the one that financially supported the family, although my mom worked, but it was just always her that took us to birthday parties, that picked us up, dropped us off at school events, or, in Disneyland. Disneyland is like the one thing that I always remember. She always took us to Disneyland, and we have several pictures of all 4 of us with her at Disneyland. I think that's like the main thing that I always remember and why we like Disneyland so much.
So what would you, or I should say, you're telling us about Disneyland. Is there something other than Disneyland that, a special memory that you cherish between you and your mom, other than Disneyland? Something special that
I guess
both of you.
Becoming a mom at such a young age, because I lived there with her. And it's not like being a mother comes with a guidebook and you have to just learn as you go. But I think her being such a good mother and so caring and loving, and living with her at the time that I became a mother, I think that that's like something that I like got off of her. And I also remember a lot of little details that she would do, like she celebrated Valentine's, Easter, Halloween, and so all of those little details I do to this day with all my nieces and nephews, and I think that that's something that she kind of like taught me to do.
Okay. Now, I know you're sharing with us your experience with your mom as a mom, right? I also know a little back end of Leonor's life. Can you share a little bit of what you know as far as her being a daughter? I know she was also, caregiver, right? She worked.
Yes.
She worked hard, endlessly, 6 days a week. But at the same time, she was also a caregiver to her mother and her father. Can you share a little bit about that experience, what you experienced, what you saw your mom going through?
I think that at one point it was hard for her, but it wasn't like a job because she knew that she had to take care of her parents. She was responsible for their medications, for their groceries. And I know that it was hard for her to balance being a wife. And I mean, we were already grown adults at the time that she had to care for my grandparents. But she was a wonderful sister and a wonderful daughter. I don't know, I guess everyone thinks that their mom is perfect. I guess I can say that about mine because I saw everything that she did for her parents. She was there for them until their last day here, and she pretty much used to set time every week for them to do their grocery shopping, to pick up their medications, to make sure that their house was organized and everything. So I can honestly say that my grandparents, I'm sure they were so proud to have raised her the way that they did, and she never like abandoned her parents, and she was always there for them.
Now, unfortunately, she's not here with us, so I can't sit her here and ask her, right, what the grieving process was for her. Losing, unfortunately, she had a lot of loss prior to her passing, right? She lost one of, or I should say the best friend, right?
Yes.
Her sister, her only sister, who was, again, not only her sister, but her best friend.
Yes.
They loved each other dearly. Unfortunately, she passed away from cancer, and I know that was hard on your mom.
It was.
Once she lost her sister, she also lost her mother, her father, and her dear beloved brother-in-law. So she suffered through a lot of loss. What can you speak on that? What was your experience seeing your mother go through so much grief in such a short amount of time? I want to say it all happened within a year or so.
Yes.
That's a lot to take in.
It was a lot.
What do you think? What was your experience seeing your mother going through?
I almost feel that at that time we couldn't grieve their loss because we had to be there for her, to be strong for her. But I remember at the hospital she had said that she was there for all of them, so that she wished they were there for her. So it was so hard to she loved us as her children, but she adored her sister and her parents, and she wanted them there during the time that she was sick. So I always remember her saying that in the hospital, that she wished that they were there for her, how she was there for them. So that was really, really hard because we had to be strong for her, and we had to, I guess, we had no choice but to be strong for her, and it was really sad to see her go through all of that.
So, you mentioned her being sick. Can you tell our viewers, our friends, our family who are hopefully watching, can you tell us about her illness, about finding out that she was sick, how you found out, where you were when you found out that she was sick, and let the viewers know what was told to you?
so she started to feel, every year she would go to Mexico for her month-long vacations. And so I remember my sister Leo had went with her to Guanajuato, and she started to feel sick there. But she would always only complain about heartburn. She would say, I don't know, I have a discomfort. It was always just heartburn. And she used to go to the doctor regularly, and she was, one of those that went to the doctor all the time. She didn't take any medication. I don't know, what was the only thing she had before, prior to the cancer? She didn't have anything, diabetes, blood pressure, none of that. So then it all happened so fast. It was September when she went to Mexico, and then I have a voicemail of her when she was in TJ, when she needed a ride for her to come home because Leo had left her over there because she wasn't feeling too well to travel back at that time that she was supposed to come back. So it all happened so fast. I feel like the end of September she went to the ER, and then in the ER at Santa Monica Hospital is where finally, I think you were there, Louis, I'm not sure, they took her back to the ER because a different ER didn't do anything for her, and she still wasn't feeling well. She knew something was wrong with her. She felt it. She wanted to go back to the hospital. So then we took her to the ER, and we're like, let's see if hopefully an ER doctor will let her know what's wrong. So I believe it was the right time, because an ER doctor sent her for a CT scan. And then I remember my husband being there. It all feels like so blurry that day, but we were in the ER, and then there was other relatives of ours in the ER seeing other loved ones. There was someone there. And then I remember the doctor just came in and told us that she had pancreatic cancer. And I think I ran out. I think that my mom knew she was sick. I think she knew there was something seriously wrong with her. You could just tell, like, the blank stare in her eye, like when she was in the hospital. And as soon as the doctor told us, I don't know, I think I ran out. And my brother Juan was on a boat cruise. I'm not sure if my sister, it all just seemed so like blurry at that time that day, because when they said it was pancreatic cancer, immediately we had a family member that had passed away from that not long ago. So I immediately thought, oh, my mom's going to die. Like, I immediately thought that, but we still didn't know what stage she was in. We didn't know, like if it was only pancreatic cancer, what stage it was in, and how long she had. And so after we found out in the ER on October 23rd, I remember that because it was my sister's birthday, that's when they told us what stage her cancer was in. And she had it in her pancreas, liver, and the lining of her abdomen, and it was stage 4. So I immediately knew that my mom wasn't going to beat this battle. And I feel that my brothers were in such denial, but I already had processed immediately when we knew that it was stage 4 in all those areas. I knew that my mom wasn't going to make it out of it. I said only a miracle is going to save my mom's life, because there's just no way you're going to beat stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And so the doctor had asked us if, he said, your mom, we chose not to tell my mom what stage it was in, but the doctor said if you don't tell her, she knows what she's feeling and she knows what she's going through. So we chose not to tell her. I don't even know if we asked her if she wanted chemo, but I don't think that she wanted it, because after she found out she had cancer, I feel like she just had like this blank stare in her face. Like, I don't think she smiled much in the hospital, but we enjoyed her. I stopped working. I asked for time off from work, and my husband financially supported me so I wouldn't work the whole time my mom was sick, because the only time we were going to have her was until cancer decided to take her. And that was November 24th. 24th. Yeah. So we found October 23rd that it was stage 4. And she literally died in a month. Everything that was supposed to happen to her The doctor said within 6 to 9 months, everything that was going to start happening with her having stage 4 in these 3 areas, all of that happened to her in a month. And the doctor couldn't explain to us and understand why that happened, but that's just the way it happened with her body. And so it took her literally in a whole month. By the time we found out what stage it was in, she died a month later.
What was something that helped you? And I don't want to say get through, right, what you were going through, because how can you get through, right? First of all, finding out that your mother at such a young age, because your mom was very young, finding out that at such a young age, she is now diagnosed with pancreatic cancer stage 4. You, I think, are more of a realist, right? Your brothers, and I don't want to speak for them, right? I think they were more optimistic, and they were hoping and thinking, right? She's gonna get through this. Again, you being the realist, knew that unfortunately she was probably not gonna pull through, right? What are some, what helped you get through that, right? I know it was hard on you too, right? Not going to work, right? Your life was completely uprooted and changed, right? You're now caring for your mother. You're not going to work. You're going to the hospital daily, being there for her as much as you can, right? What is something you latched onto? What is, whether it was some type of hope or whether it was just the fact that you wanted to be there for her, what helped you not break down in front of her, or just for yourself? What helped you get through that, right? Through her being in the hospital and going through everything she went through.
So we had like a routine. So my dad would stay the night, and then my sister and I would get there in the morning, and then he'll leave. At that time, we didn't have a good relationship with our dad, but we were like all dealing with it together and trying to not show my mom that we were, not in good terms, even though she knew. So I think spending time with her, with me, with Leo, my mom, and me, like every single day, like spending time with her, polishing our nails, talking to her, I think that really did it. Because we knew, like me and Leo knew, it wasn't fair to us that she was going to die. I mean, any one of us could have died while she was sick. You just never know when your time is going to come. But I think that helped, because Leo and me would go and spend a lot of time with her. We would talk to her a lot. She talked to us a lot. But what was hard is that, when you know someone is going to die and you want to ask them things like what they want, or like you want, I don't know, like you don't want to let them know that they're going to die, but you also want memories, and you want to ask them things and what they wish for and what they want. So it was kind of hard, but my mom she did talk to us a lot in the hospital. She knew, we knew that she loved us, and she always told us, but I always told her that she would laugh about it, because I'm like, I want to die before you, because I don't want to suffer without you. And she would tell me, you're selfish, because I wouldn't know what to do without you. But I think that we've always been close to my mom. Me, Leo, and the girls have always been close to my mom, because we lived there with her. And just spending every day with her, I think it helped us. I mean, as much as it hurts, it did help us, because we talked to her I don't know, a lot. And she also would tell us things. And she, something I would always remember was on November 17th, a week before she died, she had asked us for 3 things. She told me and Leo, it was just me, Leo, and her. And it was the day that Joycey brought my tia Gia from Mexico. So right before, my tia Gia is my mom's first cousin, who she loved so much, like a sister. And so one of my good friends, she flew in my aunt to see my mom, and that was just so special and so nice of her. So that same day, It was November 17th, and I remember it every single day, and I talk about it all the time. My mom had asked us for 3 things, and this is why I say we spent so much time with her and we talked so much with her. She asked us for 3 things, and I know she's upset about one because we didn't do it. So she asked us to be happy. She wanted us to figure out our lives and to be happy. She asked us to teach our daughters our religion, which we failed because they don't care about religion. And then she asked us to forgive. She said, I just need you guys to learn how to forgive and to learn to forgive our father for whatever it is that he put us through, because she says that at the end of the day, he's the one that's going to be by himself. And it's just something I always remember. And we did learn how to forgive. And we have good lives and we're happy, but our girls don't care much about religion. So I know she's upset about that because she really loved our religion and she was a devoted Catholic. So I know that upsets her, but I just feel that helped us so much. And her text messages to us, Louis has some, Juanito has some, we all have text messages from her. And I have the one where she texted and she says that we're everything to her and never forget that she loves us. So, and I have my last Mother's Day card from her. So I feel that all of that has really helped me because I have no regrets. My relationship with my mom has always been good, and she's always been there for me, whether it's financially, emotionally, to, teach me from my mistakes and when I'm wrong and when I'm right. So that did help during that time. We talked to her a lot, Leo and me, and she talked to us, and I'm sure she talked to our brothers too, and that probably is what helped us get through it.
So now, fast forward to her unfortunate passing. And hearing the stories of how close you were with her, I can definitely vouch for that. I don't want to say her girls were her life. Her kids were her life.
Definitely.
Of course, as a mom, she was closer to her daughters, but all of her 4 kids, she loved with, just the deepest, most unconditional, right? Love. That was her.
And always expressed it.
Always, right? Again, looking back at what your life was, fast forward to her passing, how do you think that's changed you, or has it changed you? Did it give you a different perspective, right? For life, for family, for relationships, for healing, right? She talks about, or she asked, forgive, right? So the 3 things that she asked. And I'm sure she forgives you both. I'm sure you tried, right?
Yes.
Teaching your kids, right, the religion. Unfortunately, they're adults, right?
Yep.
And they're going to do what they're going to do.
Yes.
You did your part.
Yes.
I can say that. So, being that your mother was such a kind person, such a forgiving person, do you think now that she's no longer here, did that help you, right? Change? See things differently? Again, perspective with, relationships with your family, with humans just overall, right? Did you see a change in you? Of course, I know you were much younger when she passed. You're still young, but you're older, right? And have more wisdom, right? What do you think changed? What do you think her passing helped you for the positive? We never want to think loss is a positive thing. Oh, it's loss. It's negative. It's horrible. It's a great thing. It's a horrible thing, right? But at the same time, I think it teaches us, right, to accept people, to love people, to be different, to be better, right? Would you agree?
I agree.
Do you think that her passing had some positives in your life and still now at this moment?
Yes,
and
it
if
does.
so, what do you think?
I think so, because she was such a great person. She was such a great wife, a great daughter, a mother, a good person, a good friend, because she still had friends. And I feel like I want to be like her, or at least half the woman that she was. I want to be a provider like her. I feel that like everything that I do is to make her proud, even though she was always proud of us. She was always proud of Louis and his business. She was always proud of Juan and whatever he did. She was proud of all of us, but I just feel like I want to keep making her proud. I want to be like her. I want to have what everyone speaks about her, what everyone says about her. I want to be like that. And I guess she did. She left. It's your mother. It makes me sad when people don't have a good relationship with their mothers, because I feel like mothers are everything. You get one mother and cherish her and be with her every day and respect her and love her, because when she's not here, it's hard. But I feel that every day I think about my mom. Every day I want to be like her. And I think that's I don't know, it helps me. And I don't know what else to say about that.
Is there something, I know we all talk about, and not everyone might believe, right, in signs. I think we're big on signs, right? Whether, I know you have a story about some change, nickels,
Yes.
dimes, right?
It was $2.
Can you share with us that story?
So we talk about my mom every day. The girls, Ava was younger when my mom passed. I don't know how old she was. What was she, 4 or 5?
4 or 5, yeah.
But we talk about her as if she's here every day. If I'm looking for something, because, moms know where everything is at. So, like, if I'm looking for something, I ask my mom where it's at. And I always find it. I don't know if it's a coincidence or if it's really her guiding me. So there was a time when we moved to Tennessee, I had a job at a doctor's office. And then I started to interview at another doctor's office. And so this was going to be a different shift. And I wanted more money because it was just like at the beginning we moved to Tennessee and we weren't making a lot of money because the minimum wage is a lot lower than here in California. So all I kept saying was, if I get a $2 rate, if they give me $2 more, then I'll go to that job. And so then I went to 3 or 4 interviews. They loved me. Everything went great. They were ready to hire me. And I kept telling my sister Leo and my husband, if they give me $2, then I'll go. Other than that, it's not worth it. I'm just going to go if it's $2 more. And so the day that I finally decided, I was exercising at the time at my old job, and I was walking outside around the whole property. I would walk around the whole property for 30 minutes. And there's only a handful of times that I have asked my mom for a sign, and so this was one of them. And the times that I have asked her for signs, she's always given them to me. But this one was like super major, because it's unreal, and a lot of people probably don't believe, but I have the $2 to prove it. So I was walking, and then I'm like, all right, Mom, if you really want me to, if you think this is a good idea for me to change jobs and it's going to be good for me, send me a sign and tell me that this is going to be good for me. So I'm exercising around the whole entire building, and I walk through the front, and there's like a flying dollar, on this, there was flowers and bushes. You couldn't really step onto that area because there was bushes. And I see the dollar, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so random. So I grab the dollar, and then I hold on to it. I'm like, this can't be real. And then I walk back around, and I find another dollar, and it was the $2 that I had been asking for. And she's like, here are your $2. Don't change jobs. And so then I didn't. And then months later, I found a job that paid me $7 more. So it was really meant to be. And that was the sign she sent me. And I found literally $2 flying on the floor. It was just so random. And I know that it was her giving me my advice and answering what I had asked her. And I kept the $2. I have the $2, and I didn't change jobs. And then something better came after that.
So what do you think helped you and has helped you? I say we never move on from loss, right? But we move forward. We continue living. Fortunately, I should say, we continue living. Unfortunately, we continue living without our loved one, right? But we keep moving forward. What do you think has helped you or helped you initially, right? And has it changed, or was it one specific thing, right, that helped you overcome the deep pain? Again, we never move on, right? But something that's helped you live your life as best as you can, right? Still remembering her, still loving her, still moving forward with her values, right? But something that's helped you cope with that tremendous pain and that tremendous loss that you experienced with her.
I think when my mom passed, it was so hard. Like, those first months were so hard. Like, the pain was imaginable. Like, it was just, I don't know. I don't wish it upon anyone. But I feel like right after that, we had spoken to my mom about moving to Tennessee before she passed. And she was like, yeah, I want to invest with you guys, and I'll go with you guys to Tennessee. Because it was something that we started talking about in early 2014, because that's the year she passed. So I feel like everything happened so fast. We were planning to move to Tennessee, and then my husband left in April, and then he proposed to me, and then it's like, oh my God, now I want to get married to move to Tennessee with him. So I feel that planning my wedding and getting married and wanting to get married at our Catholic church where we grew up and where I had my first communion, my confirmation, my mom's mass was there, all of our family, we grew up at St. John's in Inglewood. I feel that the whole planning of the wedding and excited about wanting to get married, all of that helped during those difficult months. Although every day, like, it's not, they say it gets easier with time. I don't know if you can actually say that, because there's random days, like every couple of months, I'll probably just sit there and cry for my mom. So I don't want to say it gets better, but if you talk about your loved one every day, I feel like if you talk to them as if they're here, I think that helps, because I talk to my mom all the time, and I talk to myself a lot. So I constantly talk to her about our ups and downs, about just everything in general. Like, I'll ask her things, I'll talk to her, and I speak to her as if she's here, and that's helped a lot. Maybe people think that that's weird, but I think that if you do that, it really does help. And I just feel that during the most painful time was part of the most happiest time of my life, because I was planning my wedding. I wish she was there, but it all happened so fast. And I did resent my husband for a little bit, because I wanted my mom to be at my wedding, and that didn't happen. But it was the saddest time of my life, losing my mom, but also the happiest, because I was getting married and we were moving to another state. So I feel that all that happened so fast. And so then now I'm still sad, and I still cry for her, and I'm still dealing with it, but I talk to her as if she's here, and whatever I want to sign, she gives it to me. So I know that she's here, and it makes it so much easier. And we all do, our siblings, my siblings and myself, we share a lot of experiences and messages from our mom, and that helps us, because we know that she's not physically here, but we know that she's still here with us.
Absolutely. What is one thing, something you might want to share, right? Because I don't want to speak much on your mom, right? Because this is about you. This is about your relationship with her. But I do know, as much as she was such a sweet and kind person, she was funny.
She was funny. Really funny.
She would do some crazy, funny things, right? Again, I'm not going to share because this is about you, but I would love for you to, because I feel, I don't want to say outsiders, right? But I feel friends, even some family members might have not really experienced her, right? In that sense, her funny part, her mischievous side, because she had one. Is there something you might want to share that, that you remember again? And I know there was millions of funny things, right, that she would do or say, whatever, but is there something that really resonates with you that you'd like to share? Something funny, something funny she did or, said?
Well, she loved Kobe Bryant. She loved her Lakers, but she also loved California Love, Tupac songs. So she would get home, pull up in her Silverado whenever it was playing on the radio, and she would bump it loud so we can all come out and watch her dance in the car and listen to the song and be gang. Yeah,
Tupac.
she loved Tupac. So that was her favorite song, and she would just turn up the volume loud so that we can all come out and tell her that she was a cool mom. Yeah,
Which she was.
Which she was.
Cool
Yeah,
mom.
and she loved watching the Dodgers, the Lakers. She loved Kobe Bryant. So yeah, she was a cool mom. She really, really was, and she was pretty hip. She loved dancing. She would do anything to make all of us laugh, her grandkids, and she really was. That I always remember that because she really loved bumping music in her car.
In her Silverado.
Yes.
She left her
yep.
truck.
She loved her truck.
Thank you, Mother, thank you, Maggie. I know her as More.
I know.
Thank you, Maggie, so much for sharing your experiences. Really letting everyone in, right? Again, sharing a few things that a lot of people might not have known about her, like the fact that she loved Tupac and she was gangster, pulling up into her house driveway, right, with California Love. Again, grief is painful. It's sad, but at the same time, right, we need to use that in a positive way and hopefully be able to inspire others. Not so much advice, right? We are not professionals. We can't give advice,
No.
right? But you can let people know what you experienced, how you went through it, how you're dealing with it, what gets you through each and every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Still remembering her, still speaking to her, asking her for advice, and you have those signs,
We do.
right? And I don't feel they're signs. It's reality. They're there. She's there, right? She will always be there.
Mm-hmm.
When you need her, when you don't, she will be around no matter what. Before we close, one last question. Is there, that's always something, right, where I believe there's no right or wrong way to grief.
Mm-hmm.
Some people might think, grieving, especially in our culture, right? Grieving is the wearing black and being sad, and you can't listen to music, you can't watch TV for I don't know how many days, and you have to be sad. Your loved one just died, and I saw a smile on your face.
Yeah.
How dare you, right? It's very, again, grief is sadness. It's, you have to be sad, right? What is something what's a misconception, right, that you feel is about grief? Was there anything you experienced where maybe you felt family and loved ones maybe didn't feel you were grieving the right way, right? And if so, what would you tell someone that is currently grieving the loss of a loved one? Again, we don't want to give advice because we're not professionals,
No.
but giving your side, your perspective, what would you say to someone?
I think that everyone grieves different, but I feel that whatever relationship it is that you had with that loved one, you don't have to prove it to anyone. So it's not like you have to go to the cemetery every day or you have to go every weekend. It's whatever memories and whatever relationship you have within you and them. Like, you don't have to prove to anyone. You don't have to, there's no certain way to be happy, sad, cry, or I just feel like it's whatever relationship you have with that person. And that's the only person that you need to be connected with or to show or to think about, the person that has passed. I feel like don't worry about anyone else, ever. Don't ever think that you're not going to the cemetery enough, or you're not doing memorials for them, or you're not speaking of them enough, or you're not posting them enough. I feel that just don't live like that, because no one's perfect and someone's always going to talk about you. Doesn't matter if you just lost someone or you're grieving. Like, no one, it's just deal with it your own way.
Absolutely.
Don't just deal with it your own way.
Yeah.
Just, that's all I can say.
I agree with that. I agree. So once again, thank you so much, Maggie, for being a part of this podcast. In closing, I just want to let everyone know to please stay tuned for more episodes as we embark on this emotional journey together. Thank you so much for listening to Beyond Grief, and may everyone be blessed. Thank you.